Okay, so let's read about politics. What do we have so far? The contemporary Pkwak are politically divided among many smaller polities, none of which have been able to completely dominate the Pkwak top for long. Tsorak is one of the most prominent cities in the region due to its convenient central location, but has not been able to translate these advantages into unquestionable dominance over the other city-states. YouTube, welcome back. We are doing some world building. We are sorting out what's going on with the religion, politics, economy, everything to do with the Pkwak people. So without further ado, let's jump back into the Google Doc. And there are a lot of questions here, so we got a lot to work through. We talked in the break about what is going on with the god Maqote, and the relationship of Maqote and Mnis. Maqote comes from the pre-Pkwak people. Mnis comes from the moat, the bringers of the Pkwak language to the Pkwak tap. I realize that if anyone doesn't know what this is, these are going to sound like absolute nonsense words. Just stay with us; it'll all become clear with time. So I think the best way is to say there's diversity of views on the relationship of Maqote and Mnis. So in 1, Maqote is seen as a consort to Mnis, and 2, Maqote is seen as an embodiment of Mnis. 3, what else do we have in the something about a transformation at a festival. I don't know exactly what to write for that one, so I'm just going to write transformation at festival. Okay. And let's move on. So, the foreign idea of Mien. Let's leave this for now, because we need to work out what's going on with the Mien people. Okay. Let's look at this. So the word re is used religiously in some dialects. Does sun worship fit in with or go against Mnis worship? If they are different religions, is there any syncretism present? Okay, so I have an idea about this. Oh, okay, I got the answer to the question. Only at the festival does Maqote become infused with Mnis. So I have an idea for this sun worship. Before I do, echoed words. I'm writing it with a K because in Umeti it's written with a Q. In Pkwak it's written with a K, because Pkwak doesn't have a K, uvular stop. Okay, so the sun worship. Here's what I'm thinking. In proto-Sakrat religion, we have a sun god, Re, Egyptian nod, absolutely intended, or we at least have some sort of sun worship. But over time, in many of the later Sakrat societies, the worship of the sun recedes and is replaced with worship of Mnis, or Mien, depending on the language. So things that are very old will mention Re in a religious context, but newer things would not. That's the way I'm thinking. So sun worship, and I believe if we go way back to the origins of Sakrat, we had some talk about maybe the sun being a bit of an ambivalent figure. So maybe that's the path by which sun worship becomes Mnis. The Mnis cult takes precedence. So originally sun worship, there was sun worship present in the proto-Sakrat religion. However, this receded in prominence over time, and to be supplanted by the Mnis cult, which became the predominant form of religious life in Sakrat-speaking societies. Maybe some of those Sakrat that we haven't talked at all about, like Sakrat A, that branch, maybe they're different. But at least for Mnis and for the Pkwak people, they get this Mnis cult. Cult just means, in this context, it just means worship of, or some sort of activity devoted to. Anthropologists help me out here. I don't know. I'm kind of parroting what I read. Okay. So then maybe Mnis is actually a moon goddess, and of Mnis, which was a previously unimportant moon goddess, right? Because if we're talking about the sun, like, we got to talk about the moon as well. And then Maqote, maybe Maqote comes to take on many solar features. Given the cycle, right? In the wintertime, the sun goes away a lot and it has to be replenished, something like this. Oh, we got the spam. Look how important we are now. We get spam. Oh, okay. Superb. So we can think of Maqote as filling this slot in the pantheon for some sort of sun worship. All right. So cool. Okay. We also have a culture hero, Dwan Tarun, in Proto-Sakrat religion. And the question of the role of Dwan Tarun in Pkwak religion is completely open. I haven't thought about it at all. So, chat, what do we think? Dwan Tarun. Does Dwan Tarun have a role in Pkwak religion, or is it just an ancient myth? Hi Max, welcome. Yeah, we did a reading at the start. I see. Galactic Sands Story 1, and we did a little semi-dramatic reading. But really, it would have been very hard for me to vote. I did not myself vote, because all of the entries were so good. And I kind of have a little bit in mind that we can take some elements from the other ones and weave them in. I don't know. Okay. So we have lots of ideas here. Folk hero. So Dwan Tarun, let's say Dwan Tarun is a folk hero, but not a figure in religious life. The name Dwan Tarun is still used by parents who like the idea of naming their kid the equivalent of Ulysses or something like that. Okay. Ooh, ship, that's a cool idea. The idea that Dwan Tarun's demigod blood got handed down to the conqueror of the Pkwak top. Yeah, so something like Ulysses or Hercules. Perhaps Dwan Tarun is a legendary ancestor of the Moat kings. Hello, this is my child Beowulf. Hey, I would not be shocked. Okay, so let's look, because we said kings here. I want to just jump a little bit around. We're obviously not going to get to everything today, sadly, but this is a good start for the religion. Let's find something about politics. Here we go. Okay, so let's read about politics. What do we have so far? The contemporary Pkwak are politically divided among many smaller polities, none of which have been able to completely dominate the Pkwak top for long. Tsorak is one of the most prominent cities in the region due to its convenient central location, but has not been able to translate these advantages into unquestionable dominance over the other city-states or petty kingdoms. Each polity has two political spheres, the urban center of power, where the nobility is located, and power is administered over its surroundings, and the rural areas where most commoners live and provide food and resources for the urban centers. Okay, so the situation in rural areas is diverse and differs somewhat between polities, but the basic pyramid structure of commoners upholding the nobility remains a constant. Yeah, that makes sense. One demographic that is not entirely co-opted by the structure are the merchants, who speak dialect G. That's interesting. I had not heard about that before. The nobility legitimizes their power by claiming descent from Mnis, a legendary general along the lines of Alexander the Great, who had originally conquered the Quack. Okay, let's canonize this. I like this idea. Mnis is the descendant of Duan Thrun, or so claimed, and Mnis is the one who originally conquered the Quack. Love that. Mnis claimed descent from the culture hero Duan Thrun. Or maybe we could say the descendants of Mnis claim descent. The house of Mnis claim descent from the culture hero Duan Thrun. Great. All right. So we don't know much about the political organization. The Syutmot, they're seafaring people, definitely not opposed to conquest, but their internal divisions are as of yet still unclear. I think basically the Syutmot should be somewhat analogous to the Macedonians in the going into the Hellenistic period. So I think the Alexander the Great comparison is an apt one. So we have a relatively minor kingdom that, due to circumstance, the ability of a particular general, in this case Mnis, is able to essentially dominate a large area, whether by being skilled, lucky, or both. And that is the reason why we have this situation that we have inherited. So where would Mnis be from? Where would Mnis be from? Let's go and let's look at our geography. By the way, this is the Biraiverse wiki, which is at world.conlang.com if you're curious to see this. We have a lot of information, not nearly as much as we should, but we have some basic history, things that have been canonized so far, a lot of work from the community, and this page in particular is about the Sakrat speakers and their history. So let's see what we have. The speakers of Proto-Sakrat B expanded along the savanna on the west coast of continent D. Okay, so continent D is this continent. So Sakrat B speakers came up through the west coast of this continent here, and one group migrated over the sea onto the southeastern peninsula of continent A, Proto-Sakrat B2. So these are the ancestors of the Pkwak. So let's look at continent A. This is our continent A. This is where Pkwak is going to be spoken. So I think that that Mnis' homeland is going to be somewhere on this shore. Not exactly sure where precisely, but perhaps somewhere down here, and then the conquest takes place up here. So that's the idea there, I think. Oh, Michael, that's a really cool idea. What if Mnis himself were not actually an original Sakrat speaker, but someone adopted? Yeah, that kind of semi-marginal outsider who becomes the quintessential example of some kind of group is a great origin story. Okay, so let's say that Mnis is from this region, and the Syutmot are very slowly expanding up in terms of colonies like the ancient Greeks had along the coast. And then Mnis is such an amazing genius, and the stars align in such a way that he's able to gain power and conquer the Pkwak. That comes to pass, and that's the origin of Pkwak here. Okay, so let's write that down. So Mnis was not ethnically moat himself, but was adopted into the house of a local moat warlord. So the moat, let's try and place them in time, because now we have a name for them, which is really helpful. Right, so in and around somewhere between 1,000 to 500 before the present is when Mnis lives. Mnis, and the moat are basically, they exist along this coast. So this is where the moat live, maybe in small colonies along the coast. And this is in tropical savanna, so maybe wherever there's a good bay, these are seafaring people. They have small independent city-states, and then Mnis comes over and unites them all, conquers into this region. But then the question is, B2 is moat. Sakrat B2 is moat. The question is, what is the relationship between the quack and the descendants of the moat that are not in Pkwak proper? That's one question that I am curious about. Because it would be interesting if these speakers, I don't know exactly what would be most interesting to do. Whether they get displaced by someone else, such that the descendants of the moat are only found in the Pkwak, or do they still exist and retain some sort of a relationship with their old colony, which has changed a lot. I'm thinking like Carthage and the Carthaginians with respect to the Phoenicians. Maybe there's that kind of an arrangement, or like the Mongols in China. Maybe the moat from the homeland start to think that maybe the moat that have gone to the Pkwak have become too different. They are no longer as seafaring as they once were. They've turned into farmers and that sort of thing. I don't know. Yeah, let's find out what the chat thinks. Ooh, Galactic Sand. Mnis sounds like an analog. What is with my brain today? An analog to Cyrus the Great of Persia. That is a really interesting point, and I agree completely. So then the question is, by the present, are there moat that are not Pkwak? Meaning, is there a descendant of the moat language that is not Pkwak, that has no influence from Umeti and other pre-Pkwak languages? It is a pure Sakrat, more or less pure Sakrat language. Jack saying, I agree more with the last option Colin gave. Which was the last one I gave? Is that the one where the descendants of the moat still remain on this eastern coast, but are kind of different? Okay, a pure B2 language, or at least, maybe not pure, but influenced more by the things in its immediate environment, which we don't really know the nature of. What the East Coast languages are, presumably, perhaps they're related to these pre-Pkwak languages in some way, but their mode of subsistence might be quite different due to their different location. Yeah, I think maybe we will have contemporary moat, but we'll have to evolve their language to be different, because we won't have all of the suffixes that came from the substrate influence of Pkwak. We will have something different that's happened there. Okay, so I'm going to put in, I think, a little cut there. I think we've done a good amount, and then we'll have 3 segments for this. So YouTube, thank you again for joining us. This has been a great deal of fun working on politics and pondering these weighty matters. We've talked about the moat, we've talked about Mnis, we've talked about what happens with these original people who came to the Pkwak and gave birth to the Pkwak language. What happened in their old homeland? Does that still stay the same? And I think we're saying that maybe there are descendants of those people in these areas. But anyway, there's a lot going on is all I'm saying. So come back and see how we develop all of this. Until then, Mnis kam, and bye until next time.